The presidential advisor, Mikhail Podolyak, saying at least 120 cruise missiles were launched at various locations across the country, including here in Kyiv, but also towns like Zaporizhia, Dnipro, Lviv, Kharkiv, a country-wide barrage. I suppose the attacks started, certainly we started to hear what sounded like missile defense systems going into action and loud explosions around about 6 o'clock this morning. That was after an alert in the city.
Meeting with his Ukrainian counterpart, Sébastien Lecornu assured that France remains committed to help oust the Russian invaders. Earlier in the day, the defence minister announced further military equipment would be sent to the battlefields, while a €200 million fund will allow Ukraine to buy weapons directly from French manufacturers. But France has been criticised by some in Kyiv, as President Emmanuel Macron remains in contact with Russia's Vladimir Putin, hoping to reach a negotiated settlement.
Vladimir Putin says he's banning oil exports to select nations from February. The ban will apply to those countries that implemented a cap on what they were willing to pay for Russian oil earlier this month. The G7 nations, the EU and Australia all pledged to pay no more than $60 a barrel from the 5th of December to sanction Russia over its illegal invasion of Ukraine. Russia started the month as the world's second biggest exporter of oil.
Following heightened tensions between Beijing and the self-governing territory, Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen announced that compulsory military service for men will be extended from 4 months to a year. She told the country the change was necessary to ensure Taiwan's survival. This footage released by Beijing shows China's People's Liberation Army conducting military drills around Taiwan on Christmas Day. Taipei said 71 Air Force jets entered the island's airspace in 24 hours, the largest incursion to date.
Amid the ongoing unrest, an Iranian court has sentenced a woman to 10 years in jail for removing the hijab. The Tehran court found her guilty of encouraging corruption and prostitution for her rejection of the obligatory Islamic dress code. Now, an infamous Iranian regime judge who has been tagged as Iran's hanging judge sentenced the 25-year-old Mahsa Pehravi amid widespread anti-hijab protests in the country. Reports say the Tehran Revolutionary Court sentenced Pehravi for taking off her headscarf during protests in October.
An Iranian women chess player competed in an international tournament over in Kazakhstan without a hijab, going against Iran's laws governing female dress code. Now, according to Reuters, Iran's Sarah Khadem was seen competing without a headscarf for the second straight day. Ranked 804th in the world, Khadem's participation at the chess tournament without her hijab was also reported by a number of Iranian news outlets. Now, Iran has been swept by demonstrations against the country's clerical leadership this year, with laws enforcing the mandatory hijab being a flashpoint during the protests.
The roadblocks put in place by Serbs have now been there for 28 days. And Kosovo's prime minister says the time given to NATO is running out. Earlier this week, Serbia placed its troops on the border with Kosovo in combat readiness, ignoring NATO's calls to reduce tensions. Kosovo did not wait long to act, closing its main border crossing with Serbia on Wednesday. Tensions between Belgrade and Pristina have been running high. Representative of the ethnic Serb minority in Kosovo resigned from their posts in protest over the dismissal of a police officer who refused to follow the government's decision on vehicle license plates.
We're going to begin with a huge fire at a hotel in Cambodia that is still burning. There are reports that dozens of people are currently trapped inside. So far, we know 10 people have died in the blaze at the Grand Diamond Hotel and Casino in Phoi Phe, which began early on Thursday. It's believed to have started on the ground floor before spreading quickly.
South Sudan announced on Wednesday the deployment of 750 soldiers to eastern DRC. Heavy fighting in recent months between DRC forces and the M23 rebels prompted the East African community to deploy a joint regional force that includes forces from Kenya, Burundi and Uganda. At the ceremony in the capital, Juba, South Sudanese President Salva Kiir urged the soldiers to keep the order and protect civilians.